The very first video I ever put out on the channel was an EDC pocket dump video. So I figured what better way to end out 2022 than with an EDC pocket dump update to show you what kind of gear I've gotten over the course of the year, what I've changed out, and how some of the new items on the market actually changed my mind for me. So let's jump right into it and I can kind of show you what all I have here on the table. Okay, so here you'll see some familiar stuff, as much of it is from my last year EDC update, but I'll go ahead and eliminate anything that didn't get changed out to let you know it's still good to go and that I'm still carrying it as part of my EDC before I talk about the swaps. Garmin Instinct Solar Tactical, awesome watch, still good to go. Surefire Stiletto flashlight, really can't go wrong for EDC, love it, nothing wrong with it at all. Dango wallet, it's got a pen, a notepad, everything you need a wallet to do, and it's still good to go. And then Leatherman Skeletool, probably my multi-tool of choice when it comes to EDC. But I will say I did just get a Leatherman mutt for Christmas from my wife, which was awesome. Can't go wrong with that kind of gift, right? But I will not have this in my EDC because it's huge, so it's going to go right into my kit, and I am looking forward to making some videos about this here in the future. So we will be seeing that later on. And now what's left is actually what will have been changed. So first we have the Zippo. Now, this is a cool lighter. Of course, Zippo has its whole legendary status, but this thing leaks fuel and is not reliable as a source of ignition. So I had to ditch the Zippo. And what did I change it to? Most obviously, back to a mini Bic. You really can't go wrong with a mini Bic lighter. Yes, I know I could put tape around it. I could put a zip tie underneath the switch right here if I want to make sure it doesn't leak. Whatever you want to do, but I can carry this in my coin pocket of my jeans and it's good to go and it hasn't failed me yet. I will say I did pick up a Exotac Titan light this year and that was pretty cool as well, but it's not necessarily something I'm carrying for my EDC just because of the size and form factor that the Bic has over it, but it still does a great job of having all the incorporations of what a zip lighter is supposed to bring to the table while also actually being able to keep its fuel. So I like this quite a bit and I did get it in the EDC Box Club this year, so very cool there. Now, what else has changed? Well, let's talk about my keys real quick. So I used to use a Keyback KK2 key holder, but this is the new update. So here we have a key bar, and I believe this is a key bar junior, and this came in the EDC Box Club. And just in case you guys don't know, EDC Specialties is a company I helped to start. The Box Club gives you all kinds of cool stuff throughout the course of the year, and if that's something you're interested in, you want to support a company that only sells made in the USA products, make sure you check them out. And the knife they had for the last month of the year this year is this Hogue knife, which is awesome. It has Magna Cut steel. It's 2.1 ounces, and it's just an amazing knife. So honestly, what those guys are doing over there is awesome, and I would definitely hope that you would check them out and support what they're doing, because who doesn't like American-made, supporting American manufacturing, and trying to support American jobs, right? Now, the K-bar, or the key bar, I should say, which is the new addition to my keys, is awesome because it gives you some functionality. Like I have the carabiner type attachment here on the end, so I wear it on my belt loop like you would expect a carabiner to work, but then it also has the other attachments in it as well, like some tweezers, and there's a bunch of other stuff you can get for this that gives you a little bit more functionality. And what I really like about it is this magnet thing that's on the end here. And so this magnut, not magnet, but magnut, basically connects to your key ring. It pulls right apart so you can throw your keys into your ignition and not have this giant thing dangling and hitting you in the knees and stuff. And then this just reattaches pretty simply right there. So I really like this quite a bit. And I don't necessarily leave these hanging from my belt loop because you could technically get this caught on something else metal and then lose your keys. So I throw them back in my pocket, whether that's the front and the back pocket. But when I want to get my keys out, it's really nice because I just yank on it and the keys are now in my hand. So I like this setup quite a bit. And this came in the EDC Box Club this year. So I don't think I would have necessarily bought this without receiving it in the Box Club. And now I have something that's definitely changed the way I carry my keys. So no complaints there at all. Now, Kershaw. This is a great little knife, and obviously this was in last year's EDC video. Well, I guess technically this year's, but at the beginning of the year. But I definitely had to change it out because a couple things happened to me. I took a trip to California, I went to EDC Specialties, and they are a premier dealer for Medford knives. And I now have one of the most durable, heavy-duty knives you could possibly carry around. Is this thing heavy? Yes. Is it thick? Yes. It's amazingly thick and heavy. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. You know why I like this knife so much? Because no matter what happens when I'm out and about, I have a knife that can literally do anything I would need any other knife to do, including a fixed blade. Stab through a car door? No problem. Chop off a T-Rex's leg? Yeah, you got it. Whatever I need to do with this thing, I feel confident I could do it, and it's a very, very expensive knife, and I'm not going to try to pretend that this isn't something that, you know, everyone can just go out and afford or whatever. So Keep in mind that you don't necessarily need a Medford, but I wanted one. I was at EDC Specialties. I felt like it was the best opportunity for me to get one of these, and I'll never need to buy another knife in my entire life. Like, hands down, I really honestly believe that. So this is the new EDC knife, which means if I had to go out and survive in the woods or be in an urban environment during an SHTF scenario, this is quite a knife to have on you for that situation. Not upset about it at all. The price tag maybe be upsetting to some people, but you know what? I've spent more money than this one knife cost on multiple knives over the years, and now I have one knife that I'll never need to replace. Just my 2 cents. Really, really like this knife, okay? It's Praetorian. You can't go wrong. Medford is just awesomeness, okay? So what else? All right, we have the SWAT T Tourniquet. Now, these are good for some things, but honestly, putting them on yourself is extremely difficult. So I had to get rid of it, all right? So what do I carry now? Well, I carry the TacMed Solutions SOF Tourniquet. And the reason I carry this over a Cat Gen 7 is because this carries better in the pocket, in all honesty. It's very slim once you kind of get everything wrapped up and ready to go, and it's also still very capable in the sense of being a good tourniquet. It's right up there with the Cat 7 in the sense of the 2 tourniquets you would want to trust your life to. And what's cool about the SOF tourniquets, not that this should really matter, but it can be used multiple times, whereas the Cat 7s basically have to be cut off of somebody once you use them. This can be reused if you need it to be, and in a survival situation, that could matter. So I carry this on me. I really like carrying it, and honestly, I feel good about the fact that it's one of the top 2 tourniquets in the sense of being reliable and actually doing the job at hand. So let's talk about what's really fun here. Now, this is the good old Glock 45, which you know was in my last EDC video. Go ahead, we'll make sure it's safe, it's good to go. Okay, Glock 45, you can't go wrong. Got a Streamlight TLR1 on there. Got the old Trijicon RMR. It's just a nice pistol. You know, it's a Glock, it's reliable, do all the stuff, right? But changes have been made in this regard as well. So, what did we change to? Well, right now I can tell you I'm carrying my P320 X-Carry Legion in a similar configuration. Still using a T-Rex arm sidecar holster. I really like these holsters, especially for carrying the spare magazine. But this gun just has a little bit bigger trigger guard, which makes it better for winter carry. I'm also going to let you guys know that this, we'll go ahead and show you that. Wilson Combat Grip Module, you really can't go wrong. Surefire X300, you know you're good to go with that when it comes to a weapon light. And then the SIG Romeo 2 has been a really impressive optic for me, and I will go ahead and try to show you that here, but it's a 6 MOA dot, but it's extremely crisp, very round. The window is large. I can see very well through it. It's very limited in the sense of additional hue or anything like that or warping, and it is actually fully enclosed. So I like that quite a bit, especially living in an area that has lots of wind and snow and everything else. Now, I will say that some people are a little bit scared of the P320. I totally understand that, but I feel pretty confident in this firearm in particular because I have a lot of time with it, and there are a lot of reasons why I don't necessarily buy all the stuff floating around on the internet. Make sure you do your research and make the decision that makes you comfortable. But don't worry about everybody else not necessarily agreeing with your opinion. That's just my 2 cents on that whole subject, okay? Now, here's one thing I will say. I really like this firearm, and it really does a good job, and it does have a larger trigger guard than the Glock, which is nice for when I'm wearing heavy gloves up here in North Dakota. But what I will say, and this is another little caveat here, is that with the introduction of the P365X macro, I am likely going to be carrying this over this at some point here in the near future once I get a T-Rex arm sidecar holster for this particular model. I'll get a TLR7 here on the front, T-Rex arm sidecar holster, and I'll be good to go. These have the same exact capacity, right? Which is kind of insane, let's be honest, okay? Same capacity in a much slimmer and smaller profile. So, I mean, how do you go wrong with that? It's really hard, honestly. And you can see just the slimness difference here and why this is such a nice carry piece compared to something even like this. And it's my hopes that Wilson Combat will actually come out with an X macro grip frame as well, so I can kind of have some similarities here between the 2 platforms. But in all honesty, this is probably the new product of the year that made me change my mind on quite a bit when it came to my concealed carry. And this X macro is a game changer in the sense of concealed carry form and function that meets the quality, or I guess like the capacity of a duty style pistol. So, hey man, it just is what it is. You know, we're in the future now. So, these are the changes I've made. Hopefully that gives you some things to think about. If you have any questions, just let me know. But who doesn't love everyday carry? Who doesn't love pocket dumps? And who doesn't love giant lock blade knives that are indestructible, right? So, anything else you got for me, leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, that's going to be it for Magic Prepper.